Hey everybody, it's Dan, your friendly fishmonger at dansfish.com. Today we're going to show you day number 4 of importing new fish and how I medicate and quarantine them. So let's take a quick look at that, and then when I'm done adding the medicine for today, I'm going to chat with you a little bit about a couple things that'll carry us through until we move to the next phase of medicating, which is internal parasites. So this first phase is external parasites and antibiotics, and the next phase will be internal parasites, and we'll get there in a couple days. But for now, let's head on over here. And we're just going to do the dose for day 4, which is more external parasite medicine. You can use ICX, you can use Fritz Mardell's equivalent to ICX, which is what I'm using just because it's cheaper and works just as well. I put half a teaspoon in to each 30-gallon tank, and I buy it by the gallon. So it lasts a long time, and it costs just about the same as ICX and lasts, I don't know, 6 times as long, which is awesome. So anyway, half a teaspoon in here. Ta-da! And that's it. I'll do that for the rest of the tanks as well. Let me show you real quick though, I did get some more fish in today. So these will get the antibiotics, because that's what I do on day 1, but these are albino bushy nose plecos. And then these are some lyre tail endlers that, oh man, this tank is so scratched up they're hard to see. But I'm thinking of crossing those in to my Santa Maria Endler line to create some nice lyre tail endlers of the Santa Maria strain. So I just got 5 of those. I'll set up a small tank with a few females from the Santa Maria Endler line and see what happens. Hopefully I can make a nice Santa Maria lyre tail line, but we'll see. What else did I get in? Oh, got in a bunch of these. These are bumblebee cats, and I love them. I can get bumblebee cats all the time, but not the South American variety. I can get the Asian variety all the time, but I like the South American variety better because it stays smaller. It doesn't get as big. So these guys literally came out of the bag half an hour ago, all these fish I'm going to show you. And then for those that have been waiting, peacock gudgeons. Got them in. They look fantastic. You know, quarantine takes me a couple weeks, but once they're a couple weeks from now, if all goes well, those should be ready. And I also got some of Gary Lang's emerald rainbows. So these are from the Gary Lang strain of the emerald rainbows, so they're the real deal. They're not hybrids or anything. This one looks rough. It looks like some scales are missing. I don't know what they did when they caught them for shipping, but the other ones look really good. Hopefully he'll recover with some antibiotics. If all it is scales missing, he'll recover pretty quickly. If it's something more severe, then we'll have to play it from there. But I'm hoping it's just some scales got knocked off. So anyway, I'm excited to get some pure Gary Lang strain rainbows in. So I want to show you one last thing, which is you might have noticed that in the quarantine system I have these scattered around. And what these are, let's go somewhere where stuff looks a little better lighting, a little better background. These are, and I dropped it. These are a sponge basically that's been impregnated with carbon. And I also have just normal carbon that I use too. I just happen to have this, so I'm using it right now. But I'll also use just normal activated carbon that I put in, like, say, a little pantyhose or something like that, a little net of some kind to keep it contained. I have this available because if I'm ever treating, sometimes I'm going through, hang on, my phone's ringing. Sorry, it's raw, folks. Sometimes I'm going through the normal treatment process for acclimating fish, which is just a prophylactic thing, but sometimes a tank will demonstrate a specific issue. Maybe a specific problem will manifest, say velvet or something like that. And I keep these around because if that happens, then I can do a 50% water change, throw these in the tank for several hours to absorb the medicine, and then switch treatments. So I just want to have a way to be flexible so that if I'm going through the routine process and the fish manifests something that the routine process isn't going to take care of, I can quickly remove those medicines, kind of chemically clear out the tank using activated carbon, and then start treating them for the thing they're actually manifesting. So that's what this is for. I should mention that this morning, before I added the ick medicine that you just saw me add, that I did a 50% water change. And I had a question someone asked about, well, you're doing this, how does this affect the dose of medicines? Like you add it and then a couple days later you add more and then you add some more. Is the dose of medicine gradually like compounding? How does that work? And the simple answer is that since I put the antibiotics in every 48 hours, they've had 2 water changes at least between treatments. So 50% water changes each time. So that leaves very little of the original water left that's full of antibiotics. And then the other thing that happens is antibiotics degrade over time. That's why the treatment schedule for kanamycin and nitrofurazone is every 48 hours, because by then they've kind of degraded and it's time to redose. So with the water change going on and with the natural degradation of the potency of the medicines over time, then I'm no expert, and I'm not a vet or anything, but from what I've read and from what I understand, then no, that should keep the dosage from kind of gradually increasing in potency over time, because it just degrades and you're changing water. That's my understanding. Tomorrow an expert could be like, hey Dan, actually this is what happens, and they could be a veterinarian or a pharmacologist or someone who actually knows what they're doing, right? And I would be like, oh, lesson learned, and I would change something. But regardless of whether it does or not, I don't believe it does. This works well. So for now, it's what I'm sticking to until I get better information. I'm always open to better information, but it's got to come from a veterinarian, a pharmacologist, a university researcher, or an academic paper from a peer-reviewed journal, stuff like that. For me to change, it's got to be actual data and not just lore or the mythology that we pass along in the hobby. But I appreciate the questions. Keep them coming. I think that I probably won't show the next couple days of treatment because it's just rinse and repeat. Today was anti-ick medicine. Tomorrow we'll do another water change and add more antibiotics. It really is just a rinse and repeat kind of thing. Until Saturday. Saturday, what's going to happen is I will remove the fish into more permanent aquariums as long as they look good, as long as I don't see any issues. And then I will start treating for internal parasites. So this is the last of kind of the antibiotic / ICX type treatment session. Next time we do this, we'll show you the next kind of phase of treatment and feeding, which takes place pretty much, the second week of quarantine. Anyway, thanks for watching. If you like this stuff, if you would consider subscribing, liking, sharing, hitting notification bells, all that schmaz, it would be most appreciated. And until next time, I hope you have a good one. Bye-bye.